Hello, welcome to Around the NBA Playoff Edition presented by the Ultimate Sports Show. I'm Aaron, joined as always by Manny Medina, and we got Matthew in the house as well. Guys, NBA Finals, Game 4, a lot of us were saying series tied 2-2. Man, Milwaukee came out with this 109-103. A lot of people were thinking Phoenix looked in sole possession of this game. Milwaukee came back within the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, guys, and they took charge of this game and also made Chris Paul and Devin Booker turn his ball over way too many times. They look great, though. I mean, honestly, I got to give shout out to the Suns because they look solid. Obviously, Devin Booker had the game of his life with 42 points. And that's just who he is. I mean, you can't say anything more about him. Obviously, we know what he's doing, and we know they're on a mission this year. And guys, I mean, Manny, take it away.
Yeah, hats off to the Phoenix Suns. They played a great game, but the Bucks really did a crazy comeback in the fourth quarter. Like, it was insane. I believe Phoenix was up by like 10 points in like the last 5 minutes. And what do you always say, Aaron? It's never over until the buzzer sounds, and they showed it. And remember what I said the last show, Aaron, that when I was like, that crowd is very intimidating, and that's what was going to be Phoenix's downfall. They have the fans outside, 25,000, and then inside, which is like 18, 19K in my opinion. But Phoenix Suns played a very good game despite that collapse in the fourth. Like, Devin Booker obviously had the game of his life, 42 points, and he shot better from the field than the last game. The last game he shot horrible. This game he actually had a 42-point piece. I know he didn't make a three. That's like a bit of a shocking stat line in my opinion because Devin Booker is able to like light it up from the 3-point line. Still, it's very shocking. But 42 points is nothing about a slouch. A very good game for him. And then Jay Crowder, obviously, he's a very grit grind player. He had 15 points, 5 fouls is obviously a little bit not good because one more and you would have got kicked out. But he did shoot 3 for 9 from 3. A little bit too many threes, though, but he did make 3 of them. And then, obviously, Chris Paul, he struggled a little bit. I believe he was one of the reasons why they actually collapsed. Like, as you said before, Aaron, he turned the ball over in the last few minutes. And even shooting-wise, he shot horrible. 5 for 13 from the field. Like, I don't get it because I was praising Chris Paul the last time we went live, saying that, like, he's the most important player on the Suns, and he's the reason why they've been playing so well in the regular season and in the playoffs. But tonight, I don't know. It was a very bad game for Chris Paul. He didn't look good, but and then the bench obviously was a little bit abysmal, apart from Cam Johnson, because Cam Johnson has been a surprise pickup ever since they drafted him 2 years ago. He had 10 points, and he shot 2 for 4 from 3. Good minutes for him off the bench, and great to have him shoot 2 for 4 from 3-point line and get 10 points. But now on to the Bucks. The Bucks, insane comeback. Hats off to them. They deserve it because they haven't won a championship since 1971, and I believe 71. Yeah, absolutely. So because of that, great game for them, and their fan base really deserves it. And Chris Middleton. What have I said the whole playoffs, you guys? Chris Middleton it's not like, the Batman Robin that, like, Giannis is like the Batman and then Middleton's like the Robin. Basically, they've been neck and neck the whole playoffs. And I still believe that Middleton was the best player on the Bucks in the third round against the Hawks. And now he's trying to, like, duplicate that. He had 40 points and he shot 3 for 8 from 3. He's been really, really good in the playoffs. It might be a neck-and-neck fight, whoever gets Finals MVP, if the Bucks do win the championship. Like, it might be a neck-and-neck fight between Giannis and Middleton. Just like it was last year with the Lakers with LeBron and AD. It was a bit of a neck-and-neck fight. Who was going to get Finals MVP? Obviously, it ended up being LeBron. But obviously, I can't take nothing away from Giannis. Giannis also had a great game. He had 26 points, and he had 14 rebounds. I mean, a lot of the analysts call him Baby Shaq, and he kind of looked like Baby Shaq right there with 26 points and 14 rebounds, and he shot 11 from 19 from the field. Like in the paint, Giannis is so freaking unstoppable, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And if he keeps playing like that baby Shaq that we've been seeing,
Yeah.
Bucks are going to be tough to stop. I said Bucks in 7. This series could be Bucks in 6 if he continues to play like that. And then obviously another guy that has been absolutely huge for them ever since they acquired him at in like late February. I know he didn't shoot very well tonight, but he has been such a defensive presence for them, and that's why. And I've said it ever since they acquired Drew Holiday that this was a championship move. This might put the Bucks over the edge because we know they've choked in the playoffs, and I talked about this with you, Aaron, on the last show that we know that the Bucks organization and the GM was very, very upset that they collapsed last year after being the 1 seed in the league to the Miami Heat, obviously, and that's why they got Drew Holiday for the defense, and then also obviously their 3-point sniper who has won a 3-point contest before in Pat Connaughton. He shot 3 for 7 from the 3-point line, and he also had 9 boards. Pretty good for a shooting guard, in my opinion, to have 9 boards. That's actually very nice to see. Great game for the Bucks, and now we got a series, you guys. Now like everybody's saying that it was a boring series.
Yeah.
I mean, guilty as charged for all of us. We've all said that it was a boring series to start off. But now we got ourselves a series. It's going to be a very good competitive series now. It's going to go to the distance. And whoever said it was going to be 2-0, you know who you are that's watching this. You know who you are. Like, just stop the nonsense. This is going to go to the distance, and it's a very good series that we're seeing so far.
Couldn't agree more, Manny. Everyone that said Suns in full, I'm sorry, that was a little bit of a stretch because a team like the Bucks is not going to come all the way to the finals just to get blown out by the Phoenix Suns. No hate to the Phoenix Suns, but, shout out to both teams tonight. They played great. Shout out to Booker, Giannis, and Middleton. They had an absolutely outstanding game. It was so much fun to watch this one. I mean, I know a lot of us have been really bored with the series. It's not as exciting as it normally would be. But tonight we finally got some action. It was a very close game. Both teams played their best. And, the Bucks I've kind of had a feeling from the first quarter, even though they didn't have the lead as much as the Suns did. The Bucks were shooting like 32% in that first quarter, but they were only down by like 3 or 4 points that whole time. I know the Suns had a little bit of a lead before, but then the Bucks came back, and like when I saw the way they were playing, they were just playing aggressively. They were playing like they wanted it more. And Booker, I mean, don't get me wrong, like he went off this game, like 42 points. That's the most he's ever scored, and that's like his record for the playoffs, his highest scoring game so far. But like, it was just really nice to see the Bucks just come out today and play everything that they got, because it honestly would have been like a really boring series if the Suns took it and it was a 3-1 lead. But it makes it more interesting now that it's 2-2. Who's gonna win it? We don't know. And I've been saying it from the beginning too, Manny. I think Bucks are gonna win it in 7. They're both a great team. They both have outstanding players, and if everyone like steps it up and they play their best, like it's gonna lead to a 7-game series. And I know Chris Paul had a rough game today. But, something I've noticed with the Suns is whenever Chris Paul or Devin Booker, like, for instance, Devin Booker had a terrible game last game. He only had 10 points. He showed up tonight, and he scored 42. He was making insane shots that shouldn't have even went in, but they went in. And I have a feeling we're going to see the same thing from Chris Paul, because whenever he has a bad game, he comes out the next game and he plays just amazing. And, it was really sloppy. He had a lot of turnovers, especially that last one that costed them the game for sure. It's just something that they need to, they need to like watch out for next game. Less turnovers, less sloppiness, and if Chris Paul would have like been more consistent this game, they could have probably won it. But it didn't happen that way. And you know what? I'm actually really glad that the Bucks came out and won it tonight, because I felt like they were more deserving of it because they were all playing their best. I mean, maybe not all. I will pick on PJ Tucker a little bit, even though he's been a pretty good player for them. He only had 0 points tonight, and he played 29 minutes, which I think was absolutely insane. And he almost fouled out too, which was not okay in my eyes. But everyone else on the Bucks, like they really did a great job, and I know they were deserving of this W tonight. And I have a feeling they're going to at least win one in Phoenix, and that's what's going to lead it to a 7-game series, which I hope we do see, because I know like this is not a finals game that everyone was expecting, but we got to make it exciting somehow. So hopefully, we see that happen, and whoever wins, honestly, like it'll be who deserves it. I mean, I'm just glad it's not a blowout. What do you think, Aaron?
Matthew.
Or sorry, Matthew, go ahead.
I think you guys pretty much put a nail in the coffin. Said pretty much what I was going to say. Basically, I thought it was a disappointment for Phoenix. I definitely thought they were going to come out and take care of business. Turnovers at the end of the game. I was watching the game periodically on and off. I wasn't watching the whole game, and saw that Phoenix was ahead. And you're right, game's not over till the final buzzer rings, and you got to play a full 48 minutes, and if you don't play a full 48 minutes at full strength, you're going to lose. Happens to the best of every team. So I think a big night for Booker. That was huge. And also big night for Middleton. 40 points in 43 minutes. Big game for both of those guys. Let's see what happens on, I think it's Saturday when the next game is, right, guys? See what happens on Saturday. Unfortunately, it's an extra day off.
Yeah.
I just wish they wouldn't keep delaying the playoffs. It's like, I miss the every other day.
Yeah, me too.
Keeps things moving, keeps things interesting. But let's see. I think it's going to go 7. Now, I didn't think Milwaukee had a chance after how bad they were playing. I didn't think they had a chance. I thought they were going to get swept going into it. So I still think Phoenix in 7. Calling
it. What do you guys think now with between both sides? How much of an adjustment, Manny, go with you obviously first. How much does Phoenix make a big adjustment out of tonight? Besides, obviously the turnovers is what killed them, but do you think both sides tonight, between both sides, do you think you're going to see a bigger adjustment? Maybe Phoenix goes small. You've seen them play small ball a little bit more. That's worked for them as well. Either they match up small, they go both of them go even bigger, because technically Phoenix has different opportunities to go with their lineups. Obviously Milwaukee could go small if they needed to go small as well. When they go small, their shooters are great as well. Obviously it takes Giannis out a little bit, gives him a little bit more rest. But what do you guys think? I think this is the next game you're gonna see. I have a feeling there's gonna be some major different switches. Maybe they go in a different approach of guarding Booker and how they play DeAndre Ayton. What do you guys think?
To answer your question, Aaron,
yeah,
I agree with you. There's going to be a big adjustment for Monty Williams. And you know what that big adjustment is going to be? They're going to go big. They're not going to go small. It's Monty Williams' fault as well, not only Chris Paul's fault, and I'll tell you why I blame Monty Williams. Because they did not play big. DeAndre Ayton is their only true big man on this roster. Like, why are you not playing Jalen Smith? Why was he a DNP tonight? I don't understand it. Remember the other games Phoenix played? DeAndre Ayton is not showing much aggression, and that's my issue with him. Like, if you guys are watching this show and you're saying like Manny's bashing DeAndre Ayton, he thinks he's a scrub. No. Not showing aggression doesn't mean that you suck. I never said that DeAndre Ayton sucks. He's one of the best young centers in the NBA. He just needs to show aggression. He needs to actually play like he cares. Like he's 3 for 9. You're a center. You have to be aggressive. You have to take at least 12 or 13 shots. Body people. I get you had 17 boards, but you're not aggressive. Did you see he absolutely got sauced by Giannis? Giannis had the block of the century on him, and I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, and literally, I was watching the game with my dad, and I paused it. I'm like, you see that right there? That's my issue with Phoenix. As their only big man on the roster, they have another big man on the bench that they drafted with the 11th overall pick, and they're not giving him a shot at all. So, like, that's the problem. Phoenix will not win another game in this series unless they play big. Giannis is an absolute bully on the NBA court, and if you can't stop Giannis, you got no shot.
Especially a healthy Giannis.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, Aaron.
And you can't play. Okay, you can't play big and soft. You have to play big and strong, and don't look like a Marc Gasol out there. You know, it's we already get, you guys have seen plenty of that. But
Exactly.
you're talking about playing soft and getting just dunked on and everything, and looking pathetic. I mean, first words that come to my mind are Marc Gasol. Like,
Hey, no playing soft like Charmin in the finals. So you know.
Hey, Giannis did anything but that. He beasted it tonight in that paint. I'm just saying, the Suns have got to get it together. They have to figure out a way to stop Giannis, or else they're, like Manny said, I don't see the Suns winning another game after this.
Exactly.
You know, that's the beauty. I think that's the beauty of it because I mean, you know, obviously I will agree. Obviously, Math, and I think we can all agree. I think obviously the long stretches in between the series, the final shouldn't be this long as they're making it. I think they could.
Yeah.
I think they could easily back it up here. I think that there's no reason why they can't play it on Friday. Why they have to wait so long. I get it. They want to account for the travel day and let people get acclimated because time zones. I get that, but I mean it doesn't take that many days to get acclimated. I mean really, if players could do this on a back-to-back when they normally in the regular season, they could play every other day throughout the finals. I think that's fine. So. But honestly, I just think for these games, I think that's the beauty of the finals here is because both sides have to make an adjustment. You know, you're gonna have two games that are gonna work with what you're running, and then by the time you get to game 3 and game 4 is when you gotta say, okay, I'm down in the series or series is tied because we let it be tied. And honestly, I think Phoenix now has to go back to the drawing board. Like you said, Manny, they got to go back to the drawing board. They got to see what's going to work. This is the time you have to see the other guys involved. It can't only be Devin Booker and Chris Paul and Giannis and Middleton on their side as well. Everybody has. How many times this year in a season, guys, have we said every person on your team has to contribute for you to win the game? And I think
every single show we've said this.
Every single show to the date.
it's a team game.
Yeah.
Facts.
You know, I think, and that honestly, I think that's what you're going to see. And then Saturday, I expect to see. I mean, maybe even Phoenix really changes their starting lineup. Do you think that's the case, Manny? Do you think they do? Maybe do you think they, maybe go about the rotations a little bit differently, or do you think you're just going to see it and you would like to see it overall on the bench? But do you think that Phoenix would actually want to mess with their lineup at all? Maybe if they end up giving this series up and they are down 3-2, I think they'd almost have to.
They don't have to change their lineup. The only thing they need to do, like I said, is give Jalen Smith minutes, because do you know how bad it is that they don't play their backup center? How are you supposed to win a damn game if you only have one of your big centers getting minutes? Like, I get Monty Williams was like second runner-up in Coach of the Year, but really, like, Monty Williams, I really have to question your coaching decisions. I'm no coaching expert, but I've had played 2K many times in the past, and like if you don't have a backup big, your team's gonna look lost. When he comes off the bench, who's gonna? I wonder even who plays the 5 when DeAndre Ayton's on the bench. That's what I wonder. Is it Torrey Craig? No, he's too small. Cam Johnson, he's like what, 6'7", too small for a center. Cameron Payne is like what, 6'1", 6'2". He's freaking short for the NBA, so he can't play the 5. So really, like, who's playing the 5? Really, Jay Crowder at 6'9"? Monty Williams has got to get his stuff together. Like, or else Phoenix is done.
I want to say done. I still think there's some more fight in them. It's just 1 game, or sorry, 2 games. I think just last game, Devin Booker, he had a terrible game, and then this game, Chris Paul had a terrible game, So it's just like really once your two I mean it sucks to say it like this, but once your two main players like are on the same level and they both have a beast game, you're more bound to win that way, even though it is a team effort. When your two main guys are both playing on the same level, the rest of the team is like on different wavelengths as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've seen it. And you know, they just gotta get it together. They gotta figure it out. I don't think they need to change their lineup either. They just got to play more aggressively, and you know they just need to want it more. That's really all that it is. Who wants it more? Who's more deserving of it? Is it going to be Devin Booker or is it going to be Giannis finally? Like, who are we gonna see win the championship this year? You know, we've been hearing a lot of talk about Giannis, and he's been showing up. And I don't know if you guys noticed about this game. Giannis has been very fatigued lately. He has not been playing like himself, but he still comes out and he dominates every game. He does not let that affect him. He does not let it slow him down. But you can tell that there's something different about him. I don't know if it's just because he's like tired from this whole series, or maybe the breaks are just too long, and you know, the 2-day breaks. Sometimes 2-day breaks are more hurtful towards you in the long run, because you know when you get that break you kind of slow down a little bit and then you have to pick it up again, whereas if you get a 1-day break you're still like energized and pumped from your last game and you like continue that streak of what you had going on from before. But when you have like a couple of days off, you're bound to slow it down. So I'm not sure what's going on with him, but I mean he's still been playing really great in my opinion. But I mean, is he going to be able to carry it out like that for the rest of the series? Now it's a question.
Saturday, I think Phoenix is going to come out strong. I mean, I'm going to call my shot right now. Phoenix wins by 15.
I think the Bucks are going to win at least one game in Phoenix, and I think they're going to win it on Saturday.
It's either on Saturday or Game 7.
My money's on Game 7.
I honestly think guys. Honestly, I think now. I mean, I think we could all agree. I thought, well, at least Manny Medina and I could agree. I think we were all thinking Phoenix in 6. I mean, but ideally, I think these two teams, nobody's gonna give up. I think that's just
no.
I think that's what we have to see. I mean, this kind of game tonight showed that technically, look, you know, Milwaukee could have gave that up. They could have just taken their foot off the gas right then and there with 5 minutes to go. They kept fighting. I looked at the score, and I think Milwaukee was down by 4 with 5 minutes to go, and they kept fighting, and they just out-hustled Phoenix straight up. They just out-hustled them on the offensive end and the defensive end. They just looked better. Giannis with that great block on DeAndre Ayton, man, that was great. I was watching
Beautiful
that,
block.
and I just got chills. That was great. You know, and that's what it's all about. It's the hustle. It's those plays right there that make a difference in the game. You know, I would never have said 7-game series, but yeah, I'm agreeing with everybody here. You know, I think it'll go 7, because I just think I can't see it just going one-sided. I just think Phoenix is still gonna be irrelevant. They're just not good. They're like one of those pests where someone's like climbing right on your skin, like, or when you're driving somewhere and someone's right on your tail and they're just not gonna back down. And that's how I kind of see Phoenix right now. They're just, you know, they're putting in their blood, sweat, and tears right now. Giannis and Middleton, they're all putting in their blood, sweat, and tears. And I think with Giannis's rest, maybe he is. I mean, maybe honestly it has to do with how long they're stretching out the games with the 2-day off. But honestly, it could be, it could be not. It could also be that he says, look, I'm going to still play the same amount of minutes. I'm just spacing out where I come out. And I think, honestly, I mean, that's a good idea for some other players to look at when playoffs next year, who's ever obviously in it. We can't predict anytime soon yet, but I mean, I think that's a good show for other NBA players to say, look, you know, if you still want to play 30 plus minutes in the game, you could still easily play 30 plus minutes in the game. It's just about using your rest correctly, and it's about keeping yourself fresh so you keep having your fresh legs.
Maybe that's why Giannis takes forever to shoot his free throws. That's his like little break right there.
Maybe.
1, 2,
you
3,
never know.
4.
I just want to point out
5,
one
6,
more
7,
thing.
8.
I just want to point out one more thing, guys.
Yeah.
The Phoenix Suns and the Bucks have not been to the finals in like 5 ever. I don't know the exact date, but do you really think that both teams are going to come out to the finals just for one or the other to get blown out in a 4-game series? No. They're both gonna hustle. They're gonna play their hearts out. I was telling Manny this before the show started. Everyone that was saying, Suns in 4. I'm like, really? Like, that's just. I'm sorry, that's unrealistic because the Bucks did not come this far. They did not beat the Brooklyn Nets to lose against the Phoenix Suns in 4 games straight. They're gonna come out. They're gonna hustle, and this is why it's gonna lead to a 7-game series, in my opinion.
Thank you, Medina. Exactly. I 100% agree. We were talking about this, and like I said, you know who you are that's watching this show, that you were saying that the series was over after 1 game. Trust me, the series is going to 7, and the Bucks are taking it.
What's poppin', big baby? The Clippers are not playing, but they're going to be in the finals before the Lakers, so we'll see in the finals.
I'm sorry, did you guys hear about the news about Kawhi?
Yeah, I heard he.
I just had to throw that out there real quick.
Honestly, he got hurt. I will just say, miraculously, everyone found out that he had the the surgery done. It's honestly, obviously nobody was surprised because I don't know anybody that sits in the stands with their family and doesn't sit with players on the bench. I kind of lost a little bit of respect for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
No matter how many Clipper fans I know. Also, shout out to Clipper Daryl, man. Shout out to Clipper Daryl, obviously biggest Clipper fan we know, and along with Matthew. But also, I just think that he just kind of handled himself wrong. I don't know. I think some players, some teams, honestly, guys, this year might look at him differently. We are going to have a free agency show, guys. You're not going to want to miss this. After the season's over, we'll get more involved in all the players and the trade deadlines and stuff. But, I just think some players might look at him and say, like, hey, what's with your injuries? What's with you not being able to play so many minutes? If you're going to be a starter, I'm sorry. If you want to be considered a dominant player, you go out there and play 35 minutes a game, at least 35 minutes a game. I'm not telling him to go score 41 points and play and have 40 minutes in the game. But at least go out there and be dominant in yourself and actually have your way of showing people that, hey, I could still play these minutes.
You know what? I got to say this. Going from watching Kobe Bryant from when I was a baby on up until the day he passed away, Kobe Bryant would have played with a partially torn ACL.
Oh yeah.
Why the hell was the Kawhi Leonard not out on the court until he couldn't walk?
Because he's not Kobe. That's why.
But I'm just saying, he's a professional athlete. Yeah. You're getting paid the big bucks for what? To sit on the sidelines, not even sit in the arena while your team is in the playoffs? I'm sorry.
And coming from a Clipper fan, that says a lot.
It's a realist.
I'm completely real and straightforward. Like, it's bad. But you know what? Look, when we get to our trade deadline show and the free agent show, there's 50 plus free agents going to be available. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard, might be one of them. He might be. There might be a deal, or let's see what happens with Kawhi. Well, I think the Clippers are going to go after some free agents. I'll tell you that. I wouldn't be surprised not to see Kawhi Leonard there anymore.
I don't think he likes the Clippers.
Nope.
Anyone that doesn't want to sit with their team, they're not a fan of their own team. That's just reality.
Honestly, there's something I got to say about that though.
Yeah,
I'm not just saying this because I'm a Laker fan and the Clippers are like our rivals, but there's something I got to be realist about. If Kawhi Leonard leaves the Clippers, they are in shambles. And I'll tell you why they're in shambles if he leaves. Because they have 0 draft capital. They gave 4 first-round picks away just for Paul George. So Paul George is going to be by himself working with a bunch of bench pieces.
Free agents.
So if Kawhi does leave the Clippers and the Clippers do not get another free agent with Paul George, they are in shambles. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Laker fan, but I'm being realist. It's not going to look good for them.
I think Steve Ballmer is going to go after some major free agents and spend some money.
Have you guys heard the rumors that the Clippers are trying to acquire Lonzo Ball? How do you guys feel about that?
He's coming home. He's coming to the Lakers, Lonzo Ball.
I thought the Clippers were interested in him too, though.
Yeah, they are.
What if the Clippers end up with him? What do you think then, Manny?
No, I'm gonna be very upset. Lonzo's my boy. I'm gonna be very upset if he ends up with the Clippers.
I think the Clippers need they need three. They need a free agent that would replace Kawhi plus one more.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi, Big Baby brought about retiring. I don't know if that'll be the case, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him not on the Clippers anymore. I really wouldn't. Really wouldn't. So, but I think do look for the Clippers to go after Trez because he's not happy about the Lakers. I don't.
Oh no, that's my other boy Trez.
But I'll tell you what. Look how the Lakers used him in the playoffs.
Yeah, I can't blame Trez if he leaves. I don't want him to leave. He was a great player for us, but
Same.
I mean, hey, I'll leave it right here. I'll leave it right there with the free agency talk because I mean, obviously, the only thing I will mention about it is, I mean, and we'll get into this. We'll get into some of the breakdowns about the teams. We'll even do breakdown about the Lakers as well and their, in the free agency market for them and what they expect and what things they could end up doing. But honestly, you could even say the last thing I will say about free agency and the trade deadline to give a better effect of it. What do the Lakers do with Kyle Kuzma? That is to be determined, guys.
To be continued.
To be continued.
Cliffhanger.
So guys, I'm looking forward to Saturday. It should be a fun game, and we'll see who's up 3-2. We'll see who it is. So, you'll never know. So, all right, that's going to do it for us for Around the NBA Playoff Edition presented by the Ultimate Sports Show. For Manny, Medina, Matthew, and myself, guys, I'm Aaron. Take care. Have a great night, guys. We will catch you on Saturday. Good night, guys.
Peace.
Yes.